Oldest daughter syndrome is when you were the first.
Hello friends, welcome back to my YouTube channel. Please take a moment to like this video and subscribe to my YouTube channel. So in today's video, we'll be talking about what is it like to be the first daughter in the family, and more specifically, the concept known as first daughter syndrome. If you're the oldest girl in your family, you probably know exactly what I'm talking about. The silent weight you carry, that constant pressure to succeed, to care for others, to be the one who has it all together. So I put the videos together so that you watch. I'll be back to share my true sense.
Oldest daughter syndrome is when you were the firstborn daughter and you were conditioned to caretake or to please. Here are 4 signs you are this daughter. 1, you have to be a good girl. You have to be polite and repress how you actually feel to make sure everyone around you is comfortable. 2, you abandon your own needs. Your needs were never met or recognized, so you learn that they're not important and feel guilty and shameful for even having them. You might even feel like a burden and not know why. 3, you believe it's your responsibility to make sure that no one is ever upset or disappointed. This is called emotional monitoring. You never learn that adults are capable of disappointment, and it's not your role in life to manage the feelings of other adults. 4, you suppress your anger and rage. You suppress all of those emotions through food, scrolling on social media, drinking, or really anything else that helps you numb those uncomfortable feelings.
I need all the eldest daughters to please come to the front of the class. Why are you in the back? Come to the front immediately, quickly. When I tell you being the eldest daughter builds character, it is not for the weak. Having to be the strong one, having to put other people's emotions before yourself, having to hide your pain, learning that love actually means taking care of other people before you actually take care of yourself, and not knowing how to set boundaries, which cause you to become a people pleaser. Does that sound familiar? Yeah, it's because we've always been doing this, it feels very normal. But deep down, we have never realized the amount of emotional weight that we've been carrying from childhood until now. You're the one who holds it together when it feels like everything is falling apart. You cannot pour from an empty cup. And for a lot of us, because we held onto this role and are still holding onto this role, it is so important to admit that you are tired. It is more than okay for us to ask for help and let people know and let our families know that we are not the only ones responsible for holding everybody together. And while for me, alhamdulillah, I'm very grateful that I had that responsibility of taking over for my family. It wasn't something that I necessarily signed up for, and that came with a lot of emotional baggage. Taking on responsibilities that weren't our own, especially being a child of first generation immigrants, the weight of being the parentified daughter in adulthood is so heavy. It doesn't disappear when we're adults. If anything, we're trying to reclaim our power and figure ourselves out during this time. That role of being the emotional caretaker, the problem solver, the one who always knows how to handle things. It will always stay with you even when you have your own life to manage. As an adult, I really thought that things would change and that things would be a little more different, that I would feel a lot more free. But those patterns are very, very hard to break. Am I right? It feels like constantly being stuck in this loop. And in my adulthood, I've come to realize that saying no is okay and that I don't really need to have the answers for everyone, and neither do you. You are not responsible for carrying everyone's weight on your shoulders, and you're allowed to live for yourself. You are allowed to stop performing and taking on that role of being the emotional caretaker in your family. You're also allowed to take a break, to say no, and to build your life. So I say this to say as a reminder to yourself and to myself as well, that it is also okay to try and break that cycle and to give yourself the rest that you deserve.
I think it's time for the eldest daughter to go and take our capes off. Like, I am so ready to take my cape off, and I am currently in therapy, and that's one thing that I have worked on and continuously worked on, because I just feel like when you are born the eldest daughter, you have involuntarily signed up to be a nurturer and a parent for the rest of your life, even if you grow up to never have kids. It's just one of those roles in a family. It's tiring and it's draining because you have poured so much into your younger siblings, not even just your younger siblings. When you have that trait about you, when you are the oldest daughter, you tend to parent everybody in your life. You parent your friends. Sometimes you parent your own parents, and that can be exhausting. Like, don't get me wrong. It's very rewarding to see how amazing my siblings have turned out. But on the other hand, I think as the oldest daughter, you're like, damn, what about me? You know what I'm saying? Like, we are forgotten about. And it's also very lonely being the oldest daughter sometimes, because you feel like you don't have anybody to lean on or anybody to pour into you or anybody that can understand you. Like, when you were born to be a mother and be a parent. And it's just like, okay, well, who's going to do that for me? Like, my mother is gone. So who is going to do that for me? Who's going to pour into me? And it's just very tiring, and it's just, I don't know, like I'm just ready to take my cape off. Like I don't want to save anybody else. I don't want to really nurture anybody else. Like, and let's not mention how lonely it is being the oldest daughter that you have no children and you trying to navigate the single life or figure out your career. Nobody understands that, especially when you look around and you see your siblings are doing their thing and you done had a hand in them doing their thing, and it's just like nobody's coming to save me, and I'm kind of tired of saving people, so I'm gonna take this damn cape off.
That thing that makes you put every other person ahead of yourself, it's called the first daughter syndrome. You're always willing to take the back seat as long as everybody's happy, putting every other person's happiness, joy, satisfaction ahead of yours. Always looking out for everybody, but when you look back, nobody's really looking out for you. All your life, you've been trained, you've been groomed to be a parent. There are 5 people in a room, there are only 4 cookies, everybody's hungry, but you're the first to say, you know what, I don't mind as long as everybody's happy. All your life, you've been the responsible one. And you're really not living because of the fear of making mistakes. I mean, what will people say? You, my darling sister, has been parentified. You're constantly going above and beyond for people, even for people who have proven to be not deserving of your love. You find it really, really difficult to set boundaries in your relationships. You can't have fun. I mean, what is fun? You're a first daughter. You give so much to people, your time, your money, your energy, and then you're always wondering why they aren't returning the same energy. I'm not saying it's a bad thing. I'm not saying loving people, going out of your way to serve.
It's a hard truth, but nobody is coming to save us. This is for all firstborn daughters. As hard as it is to hear sometimes, part of the reason why we fill up the space of being the doers and the main givers in our families, most of us at least, it's because we do it really well. And that's something I know we take pride in. I sure do. But one thing we also have to realize is if it's becoming too much, baby, you can also step back. Yes, it will disappoint people. Yes, they may talk. Yes, it may result in a couple things maybe just not being finished on time. But we can't keep complaining and saying, I am so overwhelmed and I am so this and that, when we also don't prioritize ourselves and just keep on giving. We can't keep waiting for somebody else to come and take this load off our shoulders. We also have to love ourselves enough to put it down and say, enough is enough. I need a break. It's a hard truth, but nobody is coming to save us.
I saw this post that said, when you realize your older sibling has no one to rely on and they've had to deal with the world, I feel like all of us that are the oldest can attest to. Like, I feel like the older siblings have, of course, had to deal with the parents first and all of their drama. All of our emotions, a lot of times we just had to deal with them. Being the older sibling, a lot of times comes with a lot of trauma because growing up, you had to deal with things first. And so you learn to rely on, cousins that are older, friends that are older. That's kind of what has gotten you through all these years because you had no one to look to, other than your parents. And of course, you do have those younger siblings, they don't understand a lot of times what's going on. We don't get enough credit for being the strongest in the family. Sometimes we've had to be stronger than our parents and deal with a lot of the issues that our parents didn't even have time or the mental to even deal with. I can't even lie. Sometimes being the older sibling sometimes sucks because sometimes you want to take a step back and just be yourself, but you haven't had the chance to. We've always had to have that hustler mentality, growing up because we had to, sometimes provide and be there when our parents could not.
A couple of days ago, I made a video about being the eldest daughter, so what's known as the eldest daughter syndrome, and I wasn't expecting the reaction that I got in that video. If you haven't seen it, go watch it, but more than that, read through the comments. The video is about the mental load that the eldest daughter or the only daughter carries in families. This is amplified by if you are belonging to a marginalized community or if you are a child of immigrants. One of the most common comments that I got was something that really surprised me, actually. A lot of these eldest daughters or only daughters as adults chose not to have children. Choosing not to have children is a very, very stigmatized decision. That's not very common, even in Western societies. It's something that really gives that woman a feeling of otherness. And I say this as somebody who herself has chosen not to have children. And I also am the oldest daughter. So there's something for me to think about there. When I find any research on this, I'll definitely share it. But I wanted to take this opportunity to talk about how challenging it can be to be the eldest daughter and carry the mental load, be the family brain, as one of the comments said, to be parentified and adultified effectively at an early age, to not be given the opportunities to be a child and develop in that like norm pattern. So much so that when it comes for you to make a decision about having children, you are so overwhelmed by caretaking for all the people in your life. You can't even envision taking care of another being, let alone somebody who will be totally dependent on you. I thought this correlation was really interesting and definitely gave me something to think about. But if you are a woman who is choosing not to have children, tell me what your experience has been like, what making that decision has meant for you, what that experience has been like for you. I have been looking.
Having friendships as the eldest daughter is literally the hardest thing in the world. Relationships in general, platonic, romantic, family, they're all difficult when you're the eldest daughter. Because on the outside, you can achieve so much. You're put together, you're productive, you get shit done. But inside, you're always kind of drowning very quietly. I saw this TikTok the other day and I wish I could remember the username. I was watching it on a different account, but the girl was talking about how she's always the friend who plans everything, the one who books the Airbnb, makes the dinner reservation, creates the itinerary, initiates the group chat, just making sure that everything runs smoothly in her friendships. And I was like, wait, that's me. Like in every intimate friendship I've had, as in my best friends, and I'm honestly so over it. I'm so over having subconscious expectations put on me. Like, can you not do anything for yourself? Why am I always the one doing the most? And no one even notices because it's just expected that that's the role that I play in our friendship. Sometimes I gaslight myself like, wait, maybe I have issues with hyper independence. Maybe I'm projecting. Maybe I just don't know how to ask for help, which, okay, sometimes true. But most times it's really just that people get so comfortable depending on you. But if the roles were reversed, I wouldn't be able to depend on you. They get really comfortable draining your energy and not giving anything back. And they don't even realize that they're doing it most of the time, or sometimes they do, who knows. Like I've convinced myself that I'm just type A or that I'm controlling, but no, I think I'm just used to being the only one who gives a fuck. Correction, the only one who gives a fuck and then actually takes steps to do something about it. If I don't do it, no one will. If I don't prep the international trip months in advance, it won't happen. If I don't set the budget or send the reminders or bring the extra charger, no one will. And that's exhausting. It's a burden. I wish I could be the chill one. I wish I can trust someone else to take the reins, but I can't. And yeah, I wish I could tell you guys about my...
That's a video, guys. I'm just here also to share my true sense, like what I think about today's video, the first daughter syndrome. So first daughter syndrome is not just a clinical diagnosis, but it's a very real psychological and emotional experience shared by countless women around the world. It's that unspoken rule that the first daughter must be the second mother, the emotional backbone of the family, and the one who always sacrifices. Is start young, often as soon as we are old enough to help out. We are expected to take care of our siblings, to behave like a lady, to represent the family well, and often to grow up faster than we should. And while these expectations can shape us into responsible, high achieving women, they can also leave behind deep scars, from burnout and anxiety to people pleasing habits and low self esteem. One of the most common thing I hear from other first daughter is that they feel like they were robbed of childhood, while other kids were allowed to make mistakes, through traumas, or be carefree. The first daughter was the one who had to hold it together. We are the ones to code, to help mom in the kitchen, to babysit, to clean up, to be the good example. And let's be honest, sometimes it didn't even feel like help, it felt like work, like unpaid emotional job we never applied for. And because we are praised from being so mature, we learn to tie our value to how well we could take care of everyone. There's also a certain type of loneliness that comes with being the first daughter. It's a kind where you are surrounded by people but feel like no one truly sees you. Not the real you, just a vision of you that keeps things together. The vision that solves problems, swallows her emotions, and show up even when she's tired or hurting. We learn to smile while suffering in silence, to make space for everyone else, feeling while suppressing our own. And that's not healthy, That's not fair, okay? But we keep doing it because it's what expected. Many first daughters also are feeling responsible for their parents' happiness, especially in families where their parents are struggling, whether financially, emotionally, or in their marriage. The first daughter often becomes the emotional support system for one or both parents. We become the therapist, the meditator, the peacekeeper. And this can continue even into adulthood when we find ourselves managing everyone's emotions but our own. It's dangerous cycle. We normalize emotional labor so much that we start doing it in our friendships, our relationship, even in our careers. Let's talk about ambition. First daughters are often high achievers, perfectionists, the ones who are going places. We are the dream chasers, the straight A student, the responsible ones. But a lot of drive comes from a place of pressure, no passion. We're driven by the fear of disappointing people. We seek validation in accomplishment because we were taught, directly or indirectly, that our worthy comes from how useful we are. That if we stop being helpful or successful, we lose our value, and that's a hard mindset to unlearn. Dating and relationship are another area where first daughter syndrome show up. Many of us struggle with settling boundaries, voicing our needs, or asking for help. We so used to being the giver, the fixer, the supporter that we end up attracting people who take more than they give. And we to relate it because deep down we are internalized this idea that comes love is earned through self-sacrifice. That being too much or asking for too much will drive people away. So we say to we shrink ourselves, we stay in relationship that drain us because walking away feels like failure. Even our friendship can be affected. People often see us as the strong one, the one who always advise, who always listen, who always show up. But how many people truly check in on us? How many friends actually know that we are going through? That one of the most heartbreaking parts of being a first daughter. You give your heart to everyone, but rarely feel like anyone is holding you. And as we get older, the responsibility don't always stop. For many of us, we continue to carry the emotional and practical burden of our family well into adulthood. We are the ones they call when something goes wrong. We are the ones expected to take care of aging parents. And again, we do it. We show up, but inside we are often a quiet resentment, a longing to be cared instead. So a lot of child our firstborn daughters, they are the caregivers, they're everything because like everyone in the family you have to take care. Imagine you have family of 12. So there's a story which I watched on TikTok where this man was sharing her story, her childhood traumas, that her father was so toxic to him, like verbally used to beat him like a lot. Okay, and this man was just the firstborn for from 12, so meaning he has 11 siblings to take care of. And on top of that, this man was chased from this. First, the mother was chased with when she was pregnant from this house, and this man married another woman, which became the stepmother for these kids. But they used to beat them. They used to do a lot of bad things to them when they were young. Okay, so then this guy one day he made oasis. He made a problem. He was playing basketball, so he was coaching the ladies. He went to a different school, of course, and the dad find out that he did that. Then he came to beat this person around the classmates in school, following him in school, beat him in front of everyone, and took him, show me where he went. So he took them there. So one day, one of these friends told him, like, is that a real father? Then he was like, yes, where's your mother? I don't know. Like 2 years, they didn't see each other with the mother. Okay. So he had to go look for the mother, and they found each other and found that the mother is struggling. And these people were rich, they were coming from a big house, they had everything, everyone had their own rooms, but now this mother is staying in a one room. So he was there with the mother and started life. Everything was a struggle. Like started looking for things to do. He went back to school, but he didn't do very well. Yeah, this is when they started life and all this. So it wasn't easy for him, but he used to go look for food. He was young by then, but he used to go look for food for other people. The mother could go and wash clothes for people, He was there also helping her, all these things so that they put the food on the table. Like, you know how stressing it is to be the first daughter or the first son? It was crazy. Okay. So being a first born daughter syndrome, it affects everyone. It can be you as a person, and sometimes it also goes to the son type and all that. So even men are affected. Like I heard stories where they were traumatized, a lot of things going on for them. It's not easy for everyone, though mostly it's women who are really affected because you need to be nurturing, you need to take care of your siblings, you need to clean the house, you need to cook for everyone. It's not easy. And these people don't even realize that you're being affected. You're just a child. You also need to play. You also need to socialize with other people. You also need to make wrong things so that they correct you. So a lot of people like this is when they realize like it's really affecting them. So that's a video. I'll see you in the next episode. Bye. See you.